Okay, welcome back. And of course, you don't see my handsome face, just because it would be so dazzlingly handsome that your monitors couldn't take it and they would crack under the pressure. Anyways, my name is Keith. I am making an 2D adventure game in Blender 3D and Armory 3D, using grease pencil for the actual 2D animations, the sprite or whatever you want to call them, animations. Armory 3D to place the stuff in 3D space. And what was I doing before I was stopped and before I actually hit the end card key instead of the title card key instead of the end card key? I was talking about how I'm going to work the story, right? You already seen part of me making the story, and that is what I did is I took the traditional kind of motion picture kind of plot outline kind of deal, where you have your midpoint and you have your two plot points and you have climax and resolution and you have the inciting incident, which is basically the thing that sets everything off in motion. And my old Creative Labs webcam, which is not really a bad deal, but I couldn't use it. That's why I got this newer webcam. Anyways, so basically the idea is for my main story was to do those plot points like that, but then on each part, which is going to be like either, I'm not sure, I think it'll be separate, there'll be separate games, actual separate games, but it will be so in each individual part, I have 5 parts or whatever, is going to I think I need to clean my room. Let's see here. It's garbage 2. Okay. Actually, I need to clear off that side on my right side because I'm going to need to move my computer around. Okay, so where this was from. And I know what that is. So in each part, it's going to have their own inciting incidents. It's going to have their own plot point 1 and 2. It's going to contribute to the overall story. I decided to do it like one big story, even if it ends up being multiple games. A little slightly different than a straight up episodic adventure. Where you have episodes that are generally kind of self-contained. Now, I'm going to make it a contained story where you get satisfaction of knowing that the part of the story is finished, but sort of like how Lord of the Rings is actually one book, and he had to divide them up into smaller like volumes or whatever. It's sort of the same way. So it's gonna actually be one big story, and actual straight on story, but you'll be playing it in parts, so I can release different parts. In fact, I'm supposed to get done with this first part by August 2020, and then it's supposed to get quicker. Instead of 60 months, it'll be 8 months for the second episode or second part, and then 4 months for the third. And by that time, I should have pretty much everything done to a point of where it's not going to take very long to finish off those last episodes. That's the way I designed it. Anyways, so we are going to start. If you notice that blinking, that's IRC, and someone was just replying to me from earlier. I'm assuming it's a he, could be a she, but I'm pretty sure it's a he, was informing me that that some sort of plumbing leak has screwed up his kitchen and basically his house and or apartment or whatever. And so I was just replying that it sucks. I know how that is. I'm just recording another video about my game, and no, they can't see you as IRC is on my second monitor. Okay, we'll leave it with that. Okay, so where was I talking about the game? Okay, so what happens here is one big story. That's where I already did this plot points there. And then I do the plot points for each of the 5 parts. And then what the majority of the story is actually going to be the gameplay. And that's kind of like the meat on the bones. Like the outline of the story itself, the plot, is sort of like the skeleton of the game, and then your actual puzzles are the actual meat of the game. So in order to get from one plot point to the next, you will so essentially it'll probably be in a cutscene, like a small one, and then you'll be set up in a location. You'll have to solve the problem that's solve the question that is asked at the beginning or at the plot point. And so then I'll be, when I get done with the story parts, and while I'm working on, say, getting engine stuff running and all that, I will be working on the actual puzzles for the game. That's why I didn't actually have puzzles in my to-do list, because the to-do list at first has got to be just getting the outline and stuff done. I just have no room. If you're wondering why I'm hemming and hawing and you're not seeing anything other than what's on the screen, the video that I'm playing there, is because I don't have much room in this room, and I got a ton of stuff. I suppose some of it maybe not be that important, that I have to get rid of it, but I actually have to go through all of it to be able to determine that. And right now I'm just trying to clean off the desk, so I can move stuff around on here, because I really have a good amount of room on this thing. But the only problem is 2 monitors push forward part way forward, so that I can actually get to the keyboard and kind of get to everything. Actually takes up extra space that I probably shouldn't. And dang, where did I... You'll have to pardon me for a moment while there we go. This is what I was looking for. If you can hear it rustling, that's a brown paper bag that I'm using to put garbage in. In fact, I've got plenty of garbage to put in there. I'm actually going to, my computer is actually underneath the desk to the right, and so I don't have as much room to move my chair around. So I'm actually going to move that over there, and then that way I'll have more room underneath the desk to kind of maneuver around in. But that's when I turn off the computer. But until then, I'm going to make sure everything is cleaned up as good as it can get. And so yeah. Okay, so what happens? Okay, so I'm going to do the plot points, story points of each of the parts of the story. Then I'm going to start working on puzzles. Well, actually, kind of like locations. I'm not sure how it slots in, you know, because I'll have some locations suggested by the plot points, and then I'll be wanting to do puzzles, and so I'll actually be developing locations with the puzzles. And I'm thinking I may try to do multiple solutions, even if it's more work. In fact, I'm already planning to do more work in the animation arena. See, the one thing that kind of annoys me, and not a lot because like Sierra and LucasArts games did it fairly well, so it wasn't such a big deal, is that they'd only have like 4 different directions to turn the character in. Sometimes they do 8. And because obviously there is a ton of work that goes into that. Now, we're coming up on the end of another video, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and then I'll go back into what I'm going to do for the animation. So thank you for watching. Now let's go to my end screen, and I'll see you in the next video.